There was a day where not everyone saw a strange object in the sky. Honestly, if you did see a strange object in the sky, you were immediately printed in the news. You were being reported. You had people following you around to figure out what you saw. You had books written about you. You had people calling you crazy. And now, literally, everybody's seeing something strange in the sky, right? Like, to say, oh, I think I saw a UFO, this is what happened, blah, 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 it's not really that unique anymore. I mean, I think everybody thinks they saw a UFO at some point now, okay? And that's making it right now possibly the most important time in UFO history is right now. Last year, we had the UFO hearing where we have these whistleblowers right now coming out that are protected, swearing under oath what they saw, and they're not just like some random guy. They're people that have been sworn into secrecy and that have been in these aviation programs, and they're pilots, and it's all people with better jobs probably than you and I, people that are way closer to secrets of the government than anything that, like, you know, we would ever get the chance of being close to. And they are the ones that are coming out and talking about these extraterrestrial truths. Okay? Now, the general public is starting to see these unknown objects in the sky, and I think it's important right now to know the category of encounters. Okay? So, it goes from 1 to 7. Okay? So we're going to start with number 1. A close encounter of the first kind is just seeing a UFO. Okay, so if you see a UFO, that's a close encounter of the first kind. And that's like what we're all experiencing right now. That's level 1. We're at level 1 right now to UFOs, disclosure, and the whole world seeing them firsthand. Okay? We're all seeing them. We're all at stage 1. Okay? A close encounter of the second kind is going to be evidence, like a crop circle, like a burned ring in a field where, like, someone believes they saw something land and it left a burnt ring. Okay, that would be considered a close encounter of the second kind. A close encounter of the third kind is when you see the occupants inside the craft. For example, when Betty and Barney Hill, the first UFO abductees that was recorded, Barney saw these objects staring at him through the craft. So that would be considered a close encounter of the third kind, where you firsthand see these beings looking at you. Okay? Now, a close encounter of the fourth kind is going to be when you believe you've been abducted. Okay? Maybe you don't remember much. Maybe you're not sure what happened. Maybe it was the middle of the night and you were taken from your bed. That's been told a lot of these beings coming to you while you're asleep. People blame it on sleep paralysis, but a lot of people recall being abducted and they're not sure what happened. Okay? A close encounter of the fifth kind is going to be when you're abducted or these beings come to you in the middle of the night and they talk to you, right? We talk about the Zimbabwe incident, right? If you guys are familiar with the Zimbabwe incident, that is when a school of young kids believed they were contacted during recess by these extraterrestrials. Okay? It was these extraterrestrials came to this random little school in Zimbabwe, and they talked to all these kids. And most of the teachers at the time were in a meeting. It was almost like they knew. And these extraterrestrials told the children to take care of the planet and that nuclear testing was bad. and many things that we've heard before, but mostly to take care of the planet. And the kids all were told, like, okay, they all ran in screaming, like, we saw a creature, we saw, like, you're talking about like many kids, and they all were asked to draw what they saw, and all the kids drew the same thing. It was very bizarre, okay? And it had a lot of the parents worrying, like, what's going on at the school? Okay, so that would be considered a close encounter of the fifth kind. Now we go to a close encounter of the sixth kind. That's going to be when something dies, okay? Whether a person, whether an animal. We talk about in the 70s, the cattle mutilation, okay? All over the country, these cows were turning up where, like, their eyeballs were surgically removed. They had these incisions that, like, even the doctors at the time were like, we have no idea how they're making such clean cuts. Like, and this is true, guys. Like, there were animals popping up all over the place on farmers' fields and all over, where these animals were just, like, surgically organs removed, eyeballs removed, like, in a way where it was just like, this is not, another animal did not do this. A person couldn't have done this. We talk about, there's an encounter now, I don't know if it's true, but I will tell you guys about it real quick, is that in Flushing, New York, the zoo supposedly had a day where people were recalling seeing these objects flying over the zoo, and employees were like, man, I'm like seeing a UFO, I'm seeing a drone, I'm seeing something weird over the zoo. And all these employees were recalling seeing these UFOs. And then one night, a guy locked up, he saw the UFO. When he came back in the morning, all the animals were dead inside the zoo, okay? And the zoo was closed down for a really long time. And they, like, basically rebuilt it. It's right in Flushing, New York. Now, again, it's a folk tale. I don't know. But I do know that the zoo closed down, and people, employees, were seeing these objects. They called them green lights over the zoo. Okay, so, and there's not a lot of, it's a folk tale. It's a paranormal story. And I think it's funny that if you type it in, there's not a lot that pops up about it, right? It's a great story, and there's not a lot that pops up about it. It's almost like they don't want you to know about it. So, I don't know, take it for what it is. Flushing, New York. Animals dead, cattle mutilation, that would be considered a close encounter of the sixth kind. Now we move to the very last one. This is going to be a close encounter of the seventh kind, and that's going to be the combination of a human hybrid alien mix, right? When we talk about the Greys, that's the most common alien that people have seen. When you think of what alien, what do you think of an alien? You think of a Roswell Gray. If you didn't know what it was called, the alien, 3.5 to 4 feet tall, almond eyes, that is considered a Gray from Zeta Reticuli. Also considered a Roswell Gray, because that's the alien that the people of Roswell believe was captured, okay, and brought to Los Alamos and Wright-Patterson and Kirtland Air Force Base. They believe that was the alien Gray. And it's the one that, like, across the board, when you see someone wearing a t-shirt and you see the alien, that's the Gray. So, people believe that the Greys are coming to Earth because they can't reproduce, and that has led to this human hybrid alien thing. Some people believe that they're walking among us now. You can't even tell. You go to New York Times Square, and the people walking by you could possibly be these hybrids. Sometimes you talk to somebody, you get a weird vibe from them, and you're like, that was weird. Like, that dude just did not seem like a natural human, like, I don't know. But some people believe that, and they believe that it's a combination of this human hybrid alien mixed with human. And that is considered the close encounter of the seventh kind. So now that we're all seeing these drones and we're seeing UFOs and we're all kind of experiencing the close encounter of the first kind, okay? It's not rare anymore. There was a time that it was rare. That's why